Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the Advanced CapCut for video editing. So now we are on our chapter number 5, where I'll be showing you guys how you can basically blur a face or an object in CapCut. So we'll be learning how to do that right over here. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here, as you guys can see now, this is basically the home page or this is the workspace of CapCut. And now the first thing what you're gonna do is you're gonna come right over here and you are going to import a video. Okay. So let me just take this particular video itself, which I do have showed you in our previous classes. And this one is basically a guy just walking around. And over here, if I do want to blur this thing out, let's first come here and let's import this video over here into my timeline. Okay. So once I do have added, here you guys can see in my import panel over here, you guys can see this particular video is showing me as added. Okay. So again, to do those things, let's come here. You guys can just check out the whole video. If you do want to just stream it, let me just go around 15 seconds. Okay, so the total duration is now 15 seconds and 7 frame. Shift Z over here to just zoom to fit over here in the timeline. And well, there are different ways of how you can actually come here and you can actually you can come here and basically you guys can put out your blur. So one simple way is if you just go to text and from text, let's go to add text. And from here, let's say if you just take up a default text box and over here now, let me just add up a full stop. Okay, so if I come here, let me just add this thing up. And over here, let's select this. Let me just add a full stop over here. And after that, what you guys can basically do is you guys can just increase the size and you guys can just basically put this particular thing on top. Okay, let me come right over here if you do want to select this one and if you do want to move. Otherwise, there is another way of how you can do is let's select this one. Let's delete this first. And if you just go over here into stickers, you guys can just take any kind of sticker from here and you guys can basically put that kind of shape on top over here. Okay, so let me just type for shape. Okay, and if I just click on enter here, you guys will be able to see that I do have a lot of shape. Let's come here. Let's take this particular shape. And now if you do want to bring it, you guys can come here, bring this particular sticker right over here. And you guys can increase the size of the sticker right from here itself. Okay, so let's say I will just place this sticker and now you guys can just decrease the size of this particular sticker. And let's say you guys can just keep it right over here. Okay. And after that, go to the effects option. And from here, if you just search for blur, and if I just click on blur, I will have different kind of effects. So from here, you guys can just choose one. And after that, if you do want to paste this one on top, okay, you guys can come here and you guys can basically paste this one right over here on top. Okay, so if you just come here, it will just come onto the whole page. But the same way, let's delete this one. Let's delete this particular one as well. I will show you guys the most basic way to do so. So you guys first right click and if you want to copy, let's click on copy from here. And again, now I will just paste this one over here on top. Okay, so I'll just paste this particular thing right over here on top. And now I will just select this particular layer and from here now I will just go to mask. Okay, so once you're coming here over here in the mask option, let's go with circle. And here basically you guys can see you guys can actually crop this thing around. Okay, so let's come right over here, match this particular size. And now you guys can just click on this blur effect and you guys can put it over here into this particular footage. Okay, let me just come over here at the starting And from here, let's select this blur option. And you guys can eventually change its size from here itself. Let me just put this one over here on top. And now what you're gonna do is you are going to play this thing up. Okay, let's say if I just bring this one over here onto this particular frame, I will just move this one as well. But for that, now what I need to do is I need to come here and I need to put out a keyframe. Okay, so this is the starting keyframe. Let me add a keyframe right over here and let me just play this particular video. Okay, and now again I will just change its positioning and you guys will notice that here automatically a keyframe is basically being added. So I'll just continue this process. Let's say I will just come right over here, and now over here, I will just move this thing around over here again. Let's move this one. Let's come right over here. And again, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, place it right over here again. And now let's come here at this particular point. And now I'm going to move this particular blur right over here as well. Let's come here, and now again I will just place it right over here, and you guys can see I'm just changing the position as the blur is being applied all by itself. Okay, so I will just come here, let's place it right over here again, and now over here I will just place it exactly here. And lastly, let's come to this particular position. Okay, let's come right over here. Let's add a keyframe. Let's go to this position and let's add a keyframe right over here as well. Okay, so now if I just play this thing out, let's say, let's come here, and here you guys can see that particular face is being blurred throughout. Okay, so you guys can see it is being blurred like this. You guys can come here and you guys can basically work with those keyframes accordingly. So this is how you guys can blur your face. And also if you do want to increase the size, you guys can come here and basically you guys can increase the size accordingly. Okay, so let's come here, let's increase the size, and here now you guys can see that, let's say I will just click right over here. Now let's play this thing up, and here you guys will be able to see that particular face is being blurred right over here. Okay, so you guys can see now it actually looks quite good, and you guys can make some small adjustment here and there. Okay, but this is the possible way of how you can actually do this particular thing. Okay, so once you're done, if you do want to come over here, if you, instead of this particular mask, if you do want to use other kind of mask, or you want to put out a rectangle in case of a circle, you guys can do that. And manually, if you do want to increase the size and decrease the size, you guys can also do that. And at the same time, you guys can also give them some rotation. And let's say if you want to reverse this particular action, you guys can click on to this reverse option over here. And if you do want to reset everything, you guys can come here and click on this button to reset each and everything. Okay, and let's say to a certain point I need this blur, and after that point I don't want any blur again. Okay, so for that, now you guys can click on to add a keyframe as well. Let's say till here I do want the blur, but after that I don't want the blur again. So in that case, let's come here, let's add up a keyframe, and from here at this particular point I will just put out another keyframe where I can just change each and everything. Let's say I will just put on none, or let's say I will just put out a star. Okay, so I will just put out a star effect right over here, and I can just do that. Let's say I will just decrease the size from here. Okay, and I do want to put this particular star effect over here on top of the face. Then I can just put out this effect right over here again. Okay, so if you do want to go back again, you guys can come here and you guys can just go back. And now let's just play this thing up, and here you guys can see this is how the blur effect is basically going to work. So here you guys can see I do have my blur effect right over here, and my video right over here will basically end. Okay, like if you do want to hide any kind of identity of any person, you guys can actually use that. And also at the same time, once you have applied this one, and let's say if I just click outside, okay, you guys can see that the edges are kind of bit sharp. Okay, so in that case, if I do want to make those edges a bit dull, I will come here and let me just add up the feather. Okay, so let me just add up till 5, and let's come here, and here you guys can see. Now let's play this thing up. Okay, so let me just play this one up. Right over here, I do have added a feather of 5. So you guys can come here and you guys can basically do this one over here as well. So if you do need to make any kind of changes, you can come here and you can just work on with these keyframes. Let's say this particular keyframe over here. And if you do want to work, you guys can come here. Let's say I will just play from this particular part. And now over here, you guys can see now this one looks perfect. Okay, so I will just end this one, and now I will just export this particular file. Okay, so for that, now you guys can go to export, and you already know how to export this particular file right over here. Okay, so in next class, I will be showing you guys how you can actually turn a text into a voice file. Okay, so let's not waste time and we'll move on to our next class using the same video.